I'm Rupert Parry and I work for a company called the Flying Buttresses. I make puppets and perform with them. We do a lot of things for local councils, fun days, street theatre mainly, and events, peripherals, weddings, bar mitzvahs, cruise ship launches. I think we've been involved in the launch of 2 or 3 different ships. The characters I guess we're most well known for are a couple called Hodman and Sally, and they are 2 backpackers from the country of Oblivia, and they're completely oblivious and proud of it.
Is everyone doing their best face?
Yes.
I am. Can you do any better than that, lad? Go as fast as you can, Hobby, because these cars are waiting.
Yeah, I appreciate
There's waiting there. Now, hurry up. Come on. Run, Hobby, do. It only took a while to get across there, though. Thanks for waiting. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I forgot my keys.
We go to events and we always stick out like a sore thumb because of the way they look, but also that's where we're coming from in terms of the performance, because they're always lost and bemused. I like the immediacy of street theatre, and I like taking theatre to places and people that wouldn't necessarily get to experience a bit of culture. As well as building puppets and stuff for ourselves, we also build things for other theatre companies, the occasional feature film, other entertainers, magicians, clowns, anybody that needs a weird prop. A few years ago we made some squirting cow udders for a clown who lives in New Zealand, and he could flip one of the teats and the rest of them shot high pressure jets of water, but you could aim them basically. I do like tortoises, yes. Now this is for an act called What the Tortoise Taught Us, which is another walkabout, but a very slow one, because obviously it's a tortoise. So I'm playing a character who's a 3rd generation tortoise herder and breeder. The thing is, it's the same tortoise for all 3 generations, because this was a bad business model, breeding tortoises, because it takes them a while to reach maturity and they live for a couple of 100 years. Well, she can do things that a regular tortoise can't do. Yeah, she can sign tautographs and do a self-taught rate. Zoos and animal-based attractions like marine parks will soon be a thing of the past, I think. So I wonder if there is a role for technology and realistic or believable animatronics such as Zelva could perhaps fill that little niche and still provide animal-based entertainment without exploiting any creatures in the process. The tortoise actually was good because we hadn't been doing too much making prior to that. It was just performing and or making things for other people. It made me remember why I like making things. It was also the culmination of, you know, maybe 10 years research and development that we were doing into various different processes. We'll buy some materials for no particular reason about the outcome, just to learn how to use them. I don't think we ever make anything that doesn't have some aluminium in it that's either been, you know, CNC machined or just rubbed down with some soap and heated up till it's annealed and hammered into a shape. It's a research project really. It's a pair of walking legs. I've actually got them up. If I put them that way up, they might make a bit more sense. Obviously this is supposed to be turned by a motor, so I can't do it very smoothly. But they are for a little show that I'm working on called Sloth in Translation, about 2 sloths. It's a love story. Yes, films have definitely been a big inspiration for me. The 80s classics, the golden age, the Jim Henson stuff obviously, TV shows like The Storyteller, Star Wars definitely. I really like Ed 209 from RoboCop, the great big ginormous mecha with machine gun arms. That's a personal favourite. It's a very handsome Gary. There was some resin dangling out of his nose like stalactites. Longevity is very important in street theatre. So if we make something for a film, perhaps it has to last for maybe even a day or a couple of weeks, a couple of months at most. So these were made for a production called Kinwren up in the north of the country. It's the largest outdoor theatre spectacular since the Olympic Games apparently. But for street theatre you could be going from one event straight to another, So thinking about things in terms of longevity becomes very important. We're currently making some human-sized sheep costumes for a company called Bread and Butter Theatre. This is for an act that they're working on called Flock. This is a taxidermy form, and sometimes when you have to make things very quickly in special effects, it's very good to get some reference. You can only get so much information from, Google Images for a sheep's head, and it's very difficult to sort of extrapolate what the forms are underneath all the hair. And I guess you could go and kill one and shave it, but that seems a bit, mean and drastic for a mask. Yes, we've got a lot of old stuff here. It's a real mixture, isn't it? A fancy 3D scanner and a couple of things like that. But yeah, most of that's through sort of diligent bargain hunting. The CNC mills have all come out of schools and been obtained sort of at auction and then retrofitted with modern control software. We make a lot of tools as well, actually. That big vac former in the corner is entirely homemade. The 3D printers are homemade. Yeah, we make robots by getting the robots that we've made to make more robots. So this is the more dusty studio. Another CNC milling machine, welding equipment, pipe benders, extraction, metal cutting table saw, another homemade tool. This is a rotor caster. More storage. I bought this storage secondhand from the local Matlin, RIP. When that closed down, I went in there and got a bunch of these louvered panels for cheap. The lovely Gary making a second appearance here. And yes, lots of moulds. So fiberglassing happens in here. GRP, epoxy, that sort of thing. And dusty work too.